Hey everyone, and welcome to Boston Auto Blog. We are back with the BMW X5, but this time around we're taking a look at the xDrive45e, so this is the plug-in hybrid. Brands like BMW have fully embraced electric technology, and they have made it very clear that within the next few years that they want to provide a range of electric-powered vehicles. Now, I think it's safe to say that hybrid technology is still being seen as a niche market and really for a cult following of people who want to extend their fuel range. However, for 2021 and for the BMW X5, mild hybrid systems will find their way into the gas-powered models for the X5. So even though we may see hybrid technology as being something that's maybe 3 to 5 years down the road, it's actually the present and for right now. So in this video, we're going to check out the xDrive45e and compare it to the xDrive40i I reviewed earlier this summer. We're also going to see if you sacrifice anything by going with the plug-in hybrid, because the last generation, you had a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine under the hood, you only got 14 miles of electric range, and your 0 to 60 time was 6.2 seconds, which was slower than the gas-powered version. So for 2021, has BMW made any improvements? And is the plug-in hybrid a crossover worth buying? Now, before we get in this review, I'd like to thank Herb Chambers BMW of Sudbury in Sudbury, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below so you can check out their extensive BMW inventory. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. Hybrid and electric technology in the automotive industry have had a very interesting history in the United States, particularly over the last 20 years. Outside of a few exceptions, Americans have been reluctant to give up their full gas-powered vehicles for electric cars. And even to this day, if you were to say, "I own a hybrid," reactions from most people aren't going to be overly positive. In 2020, there's still preconceived notions and connotations towards hybrids by the general public, whether that be because they think they're slow, more expensive, or uncool thanks to the Toyota Prius and Honda Insight. As efficiency standards become more strict, brands are embracing hybrid technology and the electrification of their lineups, while still balancing the relative low demand by consumers for both alternatives to gas-powered engines. The BMW X5 xDrive45e is one of a handful of vehicles the German manufacturer is rolling out this year to entice buyers to consider going more economical for their favorite vehicles. The 45e we have today has a starting price of $65,400, which is about a $3,700 increase over the xDrive40i. A more expensive price tag is usually the first aspect of hybrid vehicles critics point out. However, there are incentives, like your eligibility for tax credits and state rebates, to make buying this X5 appealing. More importantly, the 45e doesn't sacrifice off-road utility and practicality, as this crossover can tow up to 7,200 pounds, and standard it will be on air ride suspension with a ground clearance of 8.3 inches for better versatility if you decide to have an off-road adventure. Understanding that consumers want to be environmentally friendly, but doing so in an understated way, BMW has given the 45e no distinct characteristics compared to the 40i, aside from the charging port. You still receive the same aggressive and luxurious exterior, with BMW's iconic kidney grills and front fascia. Optional will be Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser light, which aren't equipped on this model. However, we do have the M Sport package, giving us M Sport brakes with 20-inch M Star Spoke bi-color wheels wrapped in all-season run flat tires. With a satin aluminum replaced with gloss black accents, the X545e has a low-profile look, while still retaining its sportiness and drawing attention from bystanders. Coming around to the back, you will have a functional dual exhaust, so the outlets aren't just for decoration, and standard will be LED taillights. Overall, when it comes to the road presence of the 45e, you sacrifice nothing, as there are optional packages available. Even better, you can blend in among other BMWs on the road, and can still enjoy the driving experience of the X5, to help ease you into alternative technology, which will only advance further throughout this decade. Under the hood, the X545e is powered by a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine with an integrated electric motor, which together produce 389 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a drastic difference and improvement compared to last generation's 40e, that was powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, putting out 308 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system does come standard, so if you prefer rear-wheel drive, you'll have to go with the non-hybrid variant. For fuel range, the X5 plug-in hybrid will get a combined average of 20 miles per gallon, and when in electric mode, you can expect 30 miles of range. So there's a preconceived notion in the automotive industry, even in 2020, no matter who you talk to, whether it's consumers, people in the car community, car enthusiasts, is that when you say you're driving a hybrid, they assume you're giving up something, whether that is speed, performance, whether that is cargo space, because most batteries do take up some form of room, and for some crossovers, you start questioning, why would I go with a hybrid because I'm losing that cargo room? But when you look at everything on paper, and even just when you're driving it, what it all comes down to is 1 cubic foot of cargo space that you're actually losing because the battery is in the floor. Now, when it comes to driving experience and when it comes to the performance, you lose nothing at all, whether you go with the gas-powered or the hybrid, because we still go 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. And I know some people would say, maybe that's not as quick as you could get in, say an M50i, because pricing can be a little high with the hybrid. However, even when people want to point out the pricing, you have the federal tax credits which kick in, and then you start saving some money there. And also when you start taking consideration that you don't need to always fill up all the time, you are going to be saving money over the duration of your ownership. But for me, everything is all about performance, and you really don't lose anything at all. We have the M Sport brakes, which I personally love. In my opinion, no matter what BMW you go with, make sure you get the M Sport brakes. Even though it doesn't really do much in terms of, your speeding, your driving, or acceleration, it does add a sense of quality, whether you're driving on the highway or in the city. So if you watched my BMW X5 review that I did earlier in the summer, I said the driving experience was absolutely comfortable, and the hybrid is no different. The only difference that you'd probably have, and I have this in sport mode, is that there is an audible difference in terms of sound with the engine. Now, I think whether you go with the hybrid or the gas-powered engine, it's really not going to matter. I mean, okay, you might have a small little burble noise when you accelerate, but if you really are into the sound of the vehicle, you go with the M50i. But for the hybrid that we have today, we have the M Sport package, which means we have the M Sport brakes, we have the M Sport steering wheel, and it changes up the driving experience to a certain degree. So when it comes to cornering, everything is tightened, everything is great, and I'm in sport mode, so everything is very responsive, and of course, I love the fact that the brakes are responsive as well. So the assumption is when you go with the plug-in hybrid that of course you sacrifice performance for better fuel range and better fuel economy. Now we already went over the fact that the X5 plug-in hybrid does the same 0 to 60 time as the gas-powered version, which is 5.3 seconds. Now for the plug-in hybrid, we have a range of 30 miles on electric charge, which is class leading. There is nobody coming close to this at all in this price range. Now, I did do a feature video of the Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid, and that had a range of 20 miles. So again, the X5 right now is untouched when it comes to its fuel range. Also, to put things in perspective, let's take a look at other hybrid models on the market, even not in the X5's price range. So you have the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid at a range of 37 miles per charge, and the Toyota RAV4 Prime at 42. So considering what you're paying for with the X5, of course you get a much more luxurious interior and driving experience. You get a much more enjoyable and engaged driving experience. You get also great range. Now, in a decade where we are looking towards electric technology, electric powered vehicles, and really electric powered sports cars, supercars, crossovers, anything you can think of, hybrid technology really is the present. At one time, we would say it's the future, and you would see hybrid cars and you think, you know what, that does not look good. Those cars just do not look good. They don't appeal to me. But this is an X5 from the outside. It looks exactly like the X5. I think if you were to debadge the car, not look on the driver's side where the plug-in for the electric power is, you would just think it's a regular X5. And that's what I appreciate about current hybrid technology, because A, you don't lose the performance anymore. As a car enthusiast, I'm all about performance. But also, I don't have to drive a car that looks weird. And I think that's what I like the most about where hybrid technology is going and what brands are understanding, is that people do want to have a conventional car. They want it to look conventional. They don't want to look futuristic. But if they are environmentally conscious and they're focused on maximizing fuel range, I just think that this is the perfect balance and just a great harmony altogether. Now, also during this test drive, it would be important to note that for 2021, the BMW X5 xDrive40e has a mild hybrid system. So everything is going in the hybrid direction, whether it's a plug-in hybrid or just to aid in performance. And again, this is the present. This is no longer the future. So one feature that I have neglected over the last few months in all the reviews I've done for the newer BMWs is the onboard assistant. And what I will say is there is one limitation, and that onboard assistant cannot get you out of a speeding ticket if you're driving the performance models, or even a hybrid model like this one, where you might want to have some fun on the road. So BMW has some work to do in that department. But this BMW assistant, what it will do is that it will allow you to not have to press the buttons for your climate control settings or your 3-level heated seats. So all you need to say is, hi BMW, and then say, warm up my seats, and it will warm up your seats. And I just think this is a really great feature, especially where we're all concerned about people being, on their phones or looking at screens and having touchscreens, and you're focusing on the dashboard. These onboard assistants make it so much easier and make it a lot safer, more importantly. Also, what this BMW assistant does is that there are different experience modes for the newer BMWs. And what this does is that, say you want to do executive, expressive, or well-being, you can say, hi BMW, access experience modes, and then it will automatically, if you're in expressive mode, open up the shade for the power moonroof, and that really brightens everything up, makes it more vibrant. And again, it's a great feature to have, because you don't need to press any buttons. And we're seeing a lot of this with a lot of German competitors as well. And I just think that when it comes to a luxurious experience, this is just perfect. It really is. That I don't have to press any buttons. I can just focus on the road and enjoy. That's pretty awesome. And then lastly, it gets a pretty good pickup, which again, you want to experience that in a BMW. You want to have a quick acceleration time, and it definitely has it. So you're not losing anything in performance. I know a lot of people close to me have been, when I said that I'm going to be test driving a plug-in hybrid, there was just like, oh. But you want to know something? This is exactly like a regular X5. And of course, again, for 2021, you are going to have that mild hybrid system in all the BMWs. So it's coming whether you guys like it or not. But I have to say, I'm definitely becoming a fan of this if I don't have to lose anything when it comes to driving experience and performance. Stepping inside, nothing changes compared to the X540i, as you're greeted by power adjustable heated Vernasca leather seats, which come standard when you opt for the M Sport package. A fully digital gauge cluster helps modernize the interior. And of course, you'll have a 12.3-inch touchscreen with BMW's iDrive 7 system. As mentioned during the test drive, you'll have an onboard assistant and a variety of experience modes that will set the ambient lighting, climate control, and open or close the shade for the panoramic sunroof. You'll get a rear backup camera with trajectory, and as part of the parking assist package, You will get a surround and 3D view for added peace of mind when parking the X5. For the center console, a rotary dial, touchpad, and quick access buttons allow you to navigate through different menus effortlessly to keep your eyes on the road. What does change compared to the X540i is the drive modes, as you can switch from sport to hybrid and electric, depending on whether you want to experience a spirited drive or are trying to achieve better fuel range. With this X5 being equipped with the premium package, a wireless phone charger will come standard, and here you'll also find a USB input and 2 cup holders, which can all be conveniently hidden to give the interior a sleeker look. And rounding out the front seating area, for the center storage compartment, you'll find plenty of room for smaller items. Now for passengers in the back, we're going to skip the rear legroom portion of this review because there's not much of a difference compared to the regular gas-powered X5 that we had checked out earlier this summer. So if you are interested in checking out how much room you can expect in the second row of an X5, I will leave the link to that video in the description below. Now for comfort features, we do get 2 rear air vents to go along with 2-zone climate control. So overall we have 4-zone climate control in this X5, and on this particular model we do have 3-level heated outboard seats. But also we do have 2 USB inputs on the back sides of the front seats, which I think is pretty cool. It keeps the wires from getting tangled, and it just keeps the rear portion of the vehicle a lot cleaner. We also have air vents on the B pillars to keep everyone cool or warm back here, especially today it's absolutely warm, so for if there were 3 people back here, they'd all be nice and cool. And rounding out the rear seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Now for rear cargo space, you can expect to see right around 33 cubic feet of rear cargo room. And then with the rear seats folded down, that space more than doubles in size to right around 71, 72 cubic feet. Now compare that to the gas-powered version, you're only losing about maybe 1 cubic foot of room. Now when you look at other crossovers on the market that are hybrid, they lose a significant amount of room to a point where you start questioning, is it really practical for daily use, especially if you do carry a lot with you. But the X5, even with the rear seats up, you only lose about 0.8 cubic feet. So you don't even lose a full cubic foot. You wouldn't even know. You really wouldn't. And looking at the other X5 that I reviewed earlier this summer, there's not much of a difference at all. So when it comes to practicality, the X5 plug-in hybrid is most certainly practical all around. Also with the X5, you do get a split liftgate, which I love because when you just press the button, now you have a workbench. So for me, as a camera person, I love it because filming this vehicle, going out to a location, I was able to really set up my gimbal and my camera gear right from here, and it's just very useful and convenient. But also, even better, it's great if you have heavy equipment or heavy items and you can just slide that right in to the rear cargo room. But taking this one step further, the 45e comes standard with air ride suspension. And what that allows is that you can lower the rear suspension so that you can lift in heavier items. So just like we saw with the Audi SQ7, the X5 45e provides the same feature. And then of course, once you are done loading everything into your X5, just press the button and the suspension will go back to the mode it was in. Also back here on either side of the rear cargo area, you are going to find some quick release tabs, and by simply tugging on them, the rear seats will fold automatically, so you don't need to use any effort at all, which I personally love because if I do have a lot with me, I don't want to spend any time having to manually lower the rear seats. Also back here, you do get a rear cargo cover, which keeps all your valuable items out of sight. So if you have any camera equipment like me and you park your vehicle getting some lunch or going out to eat with some friends, you can have that peace of mind knowing that no one's going to peek in and steal what you have. Then once you're done, just press the button and the liftgate will close automatically. So in closing, what is the final verdict for the BMW X5 xDrive45e? Well, for 2021, BMW has made owning a plug-in hybrid a lot more appealing for this generation than last generation. We have a bigger engine under the hood. We also have the exact same 0 to 60 time that we find in the xDrive40i. We also have an extended range when it comes to electric power from 14 to 30 miles. And we also have the M Sport package with the M Sport brakes for an enhanced driving experience. But if I was to be blindfolded and to compare the xDrive40i to the xDrive45e, other than the sound of the engine and the lack of a sound in hybrid and electric mode, there wouldn't be that much of a difference. The only difference that I would know if I was to compare the exact same vehicles is that the xDrive40i didn't have the M Sport package, and to me that makes a big difference because I like having more responsive braking. I think at the end of the day, if you're looking to really have a better fuel range overall, I think the X5 xDrive45e is a great crossover to go with. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.